So I feel like I have to clear something up. So when I talk about these kayaks, there's two categories that I group these in, right? So it's just your regular kayak, anything that floats can be used to fish, but there's like purposely built fishing kayaks, and then there's general purpose kayaks. Obviously there's whitewater rafting and all that stuff, and cruising and camping and all that stuff, but I'm not really talking about those. I usually talk about the generalist kayak and then the fishing kayak. So when I was comparing the LTE to the 106, I was comparing it on a generalist kayak, from a generalist kayak perspective. But if I look at both of these kayaks purely for fishing, like I want to do competitive fishing, or 90% of the things that I'm going to be doing out of this kayak are fishing, the 106 and the LTE are not even in the same class. They're not even in the same class. The 106 is a purpose-built fishing kayak, and you will have more fun. You will have better accessibility, better stability, better build quality out of the 106, hands down. Old Town has one of the best drives. I think the EPDL has got to be the 10 out of 10. I think the Hobie 180, not 360, 180, because that's the only one that's really reliable other than the one that's not a 180, just your regular drive, is about a 9.5 out of 10 just for the ease of use and the speed and the effortlessness of it. I mean, that's what made Hobie. And then the PDL from Old Town, I got to give a 9 out of 10. And I would say that the pedal drive from Native, I would give about a 7.5 out of 10. So if we're just talking purely fishing, if you came to me and you said, hey, I'm serious about fishing out of kayaks, or my main purpose is fishing out of the kayak, then it's going to be the PDL all day over the LTE. They're not even in the same class. They're not in the same class for stability. They're not in the same class for reliability and durability. And I mean that because the 106 is thicker. It's a stronger hull, which makes it heavier, obviously. And the build quality over the LTE is, I mean, above and beyond better. The functionalities of it, as far as your steering, being able to, you know, fix your steering in place and loosen it up. As far as the entire mechanism itself, it's far more sturdy. There's far less play in it. It's just a better design. The rudder design is a better design. So from a fishing perspective, like if we're just talking fishing, not generalist, then these two kayaks aren't even comparable. Okay, so I just wanted to clear that up. I'm out here on the Delta. You know, I think my first bass was like a 4.5, then I had a 1.7, and the tide died down, so the bite dies down. So I want to talk a little bit about this kayak. The drive, the PDL in Old Towns is remarkable. It's fantastic. It's fast. It's really responsive. I'm, you know, cruising this thing at, you know, 3.84 miles an hour. You pick it up. It's a faster boat. They're really well made. The 106 is really cool because it gives you a lot of the stability of the 120 in a just shorter version. So if you have a shorter truck bed, or you're car topping it, and you want something that's a little bit lighter, or for storage purposes, you want something that's shorter, this 10-foot kayak fishes above its weight class. I mean, undeniable, it fishes way above its weight class. So don't be worried that it's a 10-foot kayak. So, I mean, I'm not using a strap. I'm just standing up in this kayak. I mean, the 106. Again, if this is your first time watching this, I'm 6'5", 240, 250. Those of you guys that seen any of my other videos already know it. But as far as, you know, features, as far as build quality, the 106 is, you know, one of the best kayaks out there. Now, if you had the extra cash, definitely I would consider the Pro. The Pro is something that I'm really excited about, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. So here's another thing, guys. Anybody that's been in a pedal drive kayak knows it. You know, when you're steering when you're pedaling, right? and you're trying to steer the kayak, you usually have your hand right here because you're keeping it straight, you're moving. But it's simple things like if you're trolling or you're in a current, being able to twist this and just lock the rudder in place means I can pedal hands-free. I can tie it on a lure. If I have a bow mount or a rear motor on this kayak, you know, I can pretty much just put it on, you know, autopilot, auto drive, and keep going. And so that's huge. That's one of those things where it just frees up more time. If I want to pedal and beat the bank, I can absolutely do it, because on every other kayak that doesn't have something like that, your rudder is doing this, it's constantly moving. So you have to keep your hand on your steering. If you hit a current, you have to keep your hand on your steering. When you stand up, you're constantly bending down, fixing your steering. But, you know, with this, I lock it in place and I'm just going, you know, I'm gone. Also, right out of the box, the steering is just tighter. It's not as loose, it's firm, and that again goes to the build quality. It's just really good. So, you know, I'm literally cruising along here. I'm not putting in any, I mean, look at this. I'm really not putting in any effort. And, you know, we're cruising at like 2.5. And this is a speed where, I mean, I could go like this for I don't know how long. I'm literally just kind of just pedaling and looking at the scenery. If I wanted to pick it up just a little bit, maybe you can hear the difference. You know, I want to get somewhere, but I don't want to tire myself out. Now I'm at, you know, 3.2, 3.5. Again, I can do this for a while as well. And then if I really want to put in no effort at all, I'm just kind of cruising, looking at the sights, and I could literally go at this pace for hours. You know, we're at 2.3 miles an hour. So again, guys, it's just a testament to the drive. Obviously, if I really wanted to like put in a ton of energy, you can get this up to 5 miles an hour if you wanted to. How long you could do that's going to depend on your health and how good of a shape you're in. But I can tell you, being out on the water for hours, going against the current, going with the current, you know, the top two drives are going to be the PDL, either in the PDL or the EPDL version. Obviously the EPDL is going to be easier and faster, and the Hobie 180, right? That's what made Hobie, that's what it is. But as far as this 106, again, it's just an amazing kayak. So let's talk about it. It punches above its weight class. It does not fish like a 10-foot kayak. It fishes like a 12-foot kayak. And what I mean by that is the stability, the fishability, the weight that you can put on this thing, the way it takes waves, the way it takes current is phenomenal. I mean, I'm out on the Delta in California. It's the best weather we've had in a while, so on the Delta you get bigger boats. Had a lot of wake. Standing in it, not a problem. You know, standing up, sitting down with ease, effortless. Pedaling, effortless. Great drive. Drive is so smooth. And it also has the storage in it as well, which I really like. The seat has a net underneath it. So unlike a lot of other kayaks where you do have to buy something to kind of have some type of tackle management under your seat, the 106 comes with that already, so great. And then if you put your 3600s on the net that's right under the seat, you're not having to make all that noise or having to put rudder padding on the bottom so that it doesn't make noise. So right out of the gate, that's a huge plus. You know, the only thing that I'll say about the regular Sportsman, not the Sportsman Pro, is that It definitely does need extra rails in the back, and it's gonna take a little bit of customization to put a bow mount on here if you wanted to. But again, those things are fixed on the Pro. If that's something you're not really looking to do and you want to just pedal, keep it simple, not register it, then what I would do is get the regular Sportsman, and for a couple extra bucks, get some rails and add your rails on there. If you are someone that is more on the recreational side, you know, there are probably other options out there for you, because, you know, the Old Town Sportsmen are fishing focused kayaks. You know, so, you know, if you're like, I'm kind of, you know, 50-50 recreational or fishing, you know, probably not for you. If you're somebody who wants something that's sub 60 pounds, then it's not for you, because this kayak is coming in at 85 without the seat, and the pedal drive, of course, 85, 84. If I need to update that, or if I'm wrong on that, just check the description below. But, you know, if you guys want to see how I car top heavier kayaks very easily, let me know. I can do a video on that. I've been putting them on top of Jeeps, you know, on top of the Honda Pilot, on top of all types of different SUVs. You know, it's very easy to put it in the bed of a truck, just lift it up, slide it in. Super easy to put on a trailer. But if you want to know how to put it on like a taller vehicle with ease, I'm not talking about like trying to just struggle and lifting the whole thing up there. There's a very easy process to get kayaks on and off of minivans and SUVs. So if you guys want to see that, let me know. But to sum up, the Sportsman 106, it is a phenomenal kayak. In my opinion, it's still the king of the 10-footers, and I think that the Sportsman Pros, the PDLs, and the EPDLs are king of the mountain right now. And yes, even over the XTR, over the Tactical, over the Hobie Pro Angler, and over the Titan X. If you disagree, that's okay. It's just difference of opinion. But as far as build quality, as far as utility and accessories and things that they have implemented into these kayaks, it is clear undoubtedly that it's a fisherman designed kayak for fishermen, and they're the best out there. So Hobie used to be the champ. They used to reign supreme. I still think that the Titans are in the #2 spot, but instead of Hobie being #1, it is now Old Town. And I think that depending on who you are and how you fish, maybe the Hobie's #2 and Native is #3, so on and so forth. Again, another just phenomenal kayak, great kayak. So I'll hopefully be able to do more soon. I know that Kayak City has ordered or is ordering the Pros, so they should be on the way. So as soon as they're in, I will let you know. And if you want to see the EPDL, subscribe, like, because that is the next video. All right, guys, tight lines. Hope to see you out there fishing. Let's go fishing sometime. I think next week I'll be at Clear Lake, and after that, I will go to Berryessa for the first time in a long time, actually. But today out on the Delta was really fun. Caught some 4s, caught some 2s. A couple of them are on videos. You know, but realistically, I was out there just trying to review this kayak, because if it turns into me just fishing, I'm gonna be snagging fish and forget about the kayak review. So great day out on the Delta again. On the Senko, I had a red with red flake, and then I was also throwing a red and green pumpkin with red flake. So they're on the, and I did that because I also did not bring any of my red crawdad lures or anything like that. But you know, I was tossing it in after doing a bunch of punching, after trying to get them on the crankbait, after trying to get them on the chatterbait, and a few other things. I brought a 8-inch soft plastic swim bait that I was chucking around, but I started to find myself over by the docks flipping with a weighted Senko. So if you guys want me to show you that, but I put the weight inside the Senko. They're just nail weights. I put it in, and I'm just flipping on the pylons, on the pillars, and around the docks. flipped it in there, let it sink, kind of just dead sticked it a little bit. Boom, first bass, 4.5 pounds. Just a beaut. Picked her up, cameras were all out of whack. So I don't know if I have footage of that. You do, because you've already seen it, if I have it. And then I kept going, took that fish actually threw the bait out, so it just sunk. So I put on another one, started flipping again, not too far from that fish, caught myself 185. And then, you know, just kept doing that. The bite started to die down because, you know, in the Delta, when the tide stops, the bite just dies. So I just started paddling around, kind of just pulled out a spinner bait, going through the toolies, or excuse me, going through the reeds out there. No luck on the spinner, but the water was just super. It was visibility was probably 5 inches. There was, you know, it was dirty. So, you know, that's why I brought out the spinner bait. It's bluebird skies. Water temps were in the high 50s. Air temps were in the high 60s, low 70s. So at the end of the day, went out there, caught some toads. It was awesome. So hopefully I can come back and duplicate that soon. I want to start hitting the Delta up a lot more. But, you know, next week it's Clear Lake. Bam, I hope to see some of you guys out there. Biggest bass, $1,000 every hour for the 8 hours. And then the person who catches the, you know, most bass, or just has the longest length of bass at the end of the day, walks away with a brand new kayak, and I think also $1,000 as well. So it should be fun. I'm going out there trying to catch my PB, y'all. I'm just telling you that right now. Unless I get on a school where it's just numbers and I'm just ripping them, I'm really trying to go out to Clear Lake. I haven't been out to Clear Lake in, gosh, 4 years. And I went to go buy some bait specifically for Clear Lake, and I'm going out there to try to catch my PB. And that's it. And have a good time, right?